Hey guys, welcome to the Center Bounce. Today is a different sort of video, one that I'm going to sort of take for myself. Big J, thanks very much for letting me do this, but I'm going to be sharing, as you can tell in the title of this video, just, after the first 3 weeks, how I can see my boys, the Essendon Bombers, going, what has changed between this year and last year, under three games, should I say, under Brad Scott. We've got a different training regime. We've got a lot more emphasis on development, and we're looking to improve this list as best as we can. Let's have a look and see. Yes, guys, this is a different sort of video, a personal project, you may say, and for all of you Essendon supporters out there, hopefully, you can leave your comments down below how you see us going as well. A lot of people are not subscribed. We do want to sort of have this be another side thing where obviously majority of our content will be about Supercoach with the occasional non-Supercoach related content. And this is one of them, talking about Essendon. Obviously, I barrack for them and I follow these guys really closely. And I must say, I am quite optimistic and happy with how things have started thus far. I know a lot of the messaging around Essendon at this point in time, as has been the case during the preseason, is preaching more patience. Now, I understand, guys, I'm sick of being patient. It is a virtue I am not known to have, but it is something that we really have to afford these guys who are looking to come and do it the right way. I love the consistency that Brad Scott has brought to the table. He is measured. He understands that there is capability on this list if it is developed the right way. And we all know it, and that has always been our big concern, that the club has identified the importance of development, that we are going over the soft cap, prioritizing development as much as we can. That goes to show that the club has really got its football brain on and is happy to take a hit financially off, in the soft cap, cap to try and make the on-field performance better. And I'm just looking at some stats. I'm just, obviously there's statistics and there's eye test. And just on the eye test, I can see that we are structuring a lot better. And the way we're playing the game, we're not being torched as much as we were last year. Now, of course, who we play, is a massive, I suppose, factor when it comes to thinking about how well we're doing. Because when you compare our start to last year, we were 0-3 compared to 2-1 this year. But the start we had last year was very brutal. We had the Cats, the Lions, and the D's. These guys were either the premiers or they made it to a prelim final. So we had a really rough start to the year, which unfortunately killed any sort of confidence that this young team might have had. You compare that to the start we have this year. And that's, of course, by virtue of the fact that we finished so low at the end of last year compared to the year before when we made finals. We really exceeded expectations, and we really shouldn't have made it there. That was a really low number of wins to sneak into finals to make up the numbers. This year, though, we started off a lot more fairly, I suppose you can say, against the Hawks, the Suns, and the Saints. And the Hawks, you go into that game, and I still wasn't 100% confident that we win. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Maybe it's because I've been a supporter for this team for so long, and I haven't really watched a finals win, that I just have lost faith in the club. And so when I saw that 2-meter Peter was not going to be playing in round one, I'm thinking, oh no, how are we going to kick our goals? But it was, I suppose, a fear that was unnecessary, because the Hawks have not really built a team for success this year. They're certainly understanding that they're going to be taking their time in order to win. They're looking to build their list in a really strong and harsh rebuild. That's not something that we're doing. That's something that we sort of were forced into with the exodus of some of our players. But we have sufficient talent on the list. It's just about making sure that they gel, that they can stay together, and that they grow together in the right way. And what I saw was not just a win against a lowly team, it was the manner in which we won. So I was there at the game, and it really felt that it was highly contested early on, and the Hawks were on top of us. They were. There was no denying it that they got off to a better start than we did. And that is something that the club admitted and that Brad Scott mentioned, that we need to improve on our starts. Because after around halfway through the second quarter, things really started to turn. And I remember talking to my brother at the game, how are we 40 points up? It just doesn't feel like we should be winning at that point. It was, and obviously after halftime, it was just one-way traffic to the point where Ridley got so bored he pushed forward and kicked the goal, if you don't mind. And obviously the tip and Woody, that was such an incredible experience. But it just seems to me that when I was looking at it in hindsight, the club must have been confident in our ability to win that game because they had Tip and Woody as the sub. And he was not ready to go, as was the consistent messaging from Brad Scott. He could barely play half a quarter, and the guy was puffed, and he's been injured as a result of that game. So if we had gotten an injury early on in the game and had to activate him, it would have been a very different game, I imagine. But such was the confidence, I suppose, in the coaching group that, yeah, we got this. So I sort of like that in terms of this quiet confidence that we're going about our business. And our business is trying to improve ourselves defensively. Obviously, we're not there just yet, but the way we're playing, it's something that is not run and gun, not that manic running off halfback that we've had in the past. It is a different sort of build-up. And I've noticed that in terms of how our disposals are being broken down, I can see that we're actually kicking the ball more than we did last year, and we're less preferential to handballs. I can understand that there is a difference in the coaching because Truck was coming from the Richmond game style that loved that forward handball, and we're seeing that forward handball being put to a lot of use at the Giants, where Adam Kingsley has gone, and he obviously, came from Richmond. So that Richmond forward handball over possessing, a lot of quick hands, we're sort of not doing that as much. We're very happy to kick and spread, and that is actually a lot better in terms of preventing, on the counter attack. Having quick, short handballs, you're just simply diverting and you're just sending the pressure to the next person in the chain. Whereas spreading hard and kicking, if it gives you time, even if you were to fumble, you can still get a handball out, there's space, and for your back line to scramble. And we are doing a lot better structurally, I think, by having this different game plan, this way of moving the ball. Because when you compare the defensive one-on-ones that we had last year to this year, we would average 17 defensive one-on-ones each game, and we'd lose 32% of them. Now you compare that to this year so far, obviously in small sample size of 3 games, but we have just lost a game. So we're now averaging 15 defensive one-on-ones, and we're losing 28% of them. So not only have we sort of shrunk the number of defensive one-on-ones that we're having by 2, we're also reducing the number of times that we're losing them. Again, it is very minor, of course, and it's very early on in the piece, but you can tell that the way we're structuring up, the way we're moving the ball is different, it's safer, and we're seeing it translate into less punishment going the other way. And that has always been a problem for us. And obviously we still have a lot of work to do in that space, but we are doing our best with this young group that is the 3rd youngest in the competition. And it's obviously that's also being inflated when you consider that we've still got Phillips in the team and Heppel. I'm not going to say anything about these guys right now. I'll just say that I think we're getting more out of Phillips than we are out of Heppel at this point. And the way we're moving the ball and the spread that we have, you look at, again, that ball movement and how important it is. Last year, we'd only average about 7 disposals before we'd get tackled, whereas this year, we're sort of able to move the ball just a bit more before that tackle comes. We're averaging now 8 disposals per tackle. So it's not a market improvement. The players still are the same. It's just that we're now sort of trying to work it into something different that is more sustainable and more defensive in nature. And I can't wait to see us get better at that. Now, this might not be an issue in terms of, it's only a slight increment, but I'm noticing that the percentage of our disposals that we're getting, last year we're averaging 35.5% of our possessions were contested, whereas now it's down to 34.2%. Again, small sample size, but we're looking to spread. We're looking to play a more uncontested game by using the width of the ground, and running the ball along the boundary is something that we have no problem doing these days, even from a kick-in, I've noticed. So this different philosophy that Brad Scott has brought in. He's looking at our list. He's not trying to emulate and copy what Richmond did. He understands that the Richmond game plan that Truck was trying to get us to do, we don't have the cattle for that. We don't have a bunch of contested balls that can surge the ball consistently throughout the whole season, and especially when you get to finals. In the wet, we will really struggle. So we're trying to use some spread. We're trying to possess the ball, a bit more kick mark, working some angles, and getting the ball into good ball users' hands. So I'm actually not against the slight reduction in contested possession if it means, again, that we are able to improve our defensive integrity, because scoring has not been an issue for us. Even this year, I'm very impressed at how much we're scoring without 2 Meter Peter, without Stringer, without Tip and Woody. These guys were major goal scorers for us. We lost Fantasia, we lost Danaher. So there's a lot of really impressive forward performance from this group, despite missing a lot of important cogs in the team. Over time, it's sort of been whittling away. And 2 Meter Peter is so important for us. We can only hope that Sam Wiedemann can really learn from him and try his best to throw his body around, play with a confidence, clunk some more marks. He hasn't been able to do that so far, but I'm not going to be quick and just say he's a bust. It might take some time for him to really get on top of everything and really feel 100% comfortable. But part of the reason why that we're doing so well around the ground, even though we have less contested possessions, is because we're also working hard to help out in defense when the ball is in dispute. So the ground ball get is one of those key statistics that analysts are referring to a lot more. And it just shows that I think we're doing a lot better in terms of the running that we're doing is more aimed. It's got more direction, unlike last year where it seemed like we were trying so hard, but we were always a step behind. This year, we just seem to have a better understanding of how to defend, how to win the ball back. We're now averaging 10 more ground ball get wins this year. So it's really impressive. I'm really excited. And this is beyond just the stoppages. This is from you have a clearance, it's spilled out, the ball's there to be won, and you win it. And so we're increasing the number of wins that we have by 10 each game, which is really important because this can get the ball moving forward. And you also compare that to our stoppage clearances. Those have also improved by 2. And a lot of that, I think, will come from a better midfield mix by also adding Will Setterfield. Will Setterfield, absolutely love the man. He's been a great pickup for us. He's unfortunately, I think, got something wrong with his quad. He had a corky from last game that just really hampered him. But hopefully he can, I suppose, bounce back, get over it, come back stronger than ever. The balance in our midfield is really good. It's really exciting. We're winning a bit more stoppage clearances, which is an area that we were getting killed in last year with all of our lighter and smaller bodies. Another preseason into Darcy Parish, adding Will Setterfield, who's that big body as well. Another preseason into Draper, Phillips featuring a bit more as well, helping him out. So things are improving statistically on the whole, as well as on the eye test as well. This might be another video that I touch on a bit later in the season to see how we're tracking. Big J might be doing some on North Melbourne. And if you guys have any questions or you want us to do this sort of content in relation to your team, I can certainly do that. We can do that as well. But these are my boys, Essendon Bombers, and so thanks, Big J, for letting me do that. Remember, guys, if you like this content and you want a bit more of this, let us know in the comments below. And remember, here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so that you don't have to. Bye for now.